Lizzo just sat down on Drink Champs, dropped her fourth studio album, sent a pointed diss track directly at Nicki Minaj's blocked account, and then turned around and called the same woman a great rapper. All in the span of 72 hours. That's the tension at the center of this whole situation. A beef that Lizzo is simultaneously feeding and denying, escalating and walking back, all while packaging it into album promotion with a level of strategic clarity that's actually kind of impressive. Let's get into exactly what happened, what she said, what's underneath it, and what it all actually means. None of this would exist without politics. Back in December 2025, Nicki Minaj made the choice to appear at Turning Point USA's America Fest, a high-profile conservative gathering that had people talking. Then, on January 28, 2026, she showed up at a Treasury Department summit alongside President Donald Trump, publicly declared herself his #1 fan, and pledged somewhere between $150,000 and $300,000 toward his new child investment savings initiative. Lizzo watched all of this unfold and didn't stay quiet. She commented on the broader trend of celebrities aligning with political movements, saying the public was about to see an influx of people who see that it is more profitable and more beneficial to join that side. She stopped just short of saying Nicki's name. The implication was loud enough that nobody needed it spelled out. Minaj had publicly shifted her political positioning, and Lizzo was essentially calling it opportunistic, a move motivated by profit and privilege, not conviction. That was the match. What came next was the accelerant. On February 1st, 2026, the Grammy Awards took place at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles. Nicki Minaj was absent. Trevor Noah, hosting for his sixth and final time, addressed that absence in his opening monologue with a line that immediately circulated everywhere. She is still at the White House with Donald Trump discussing very important issues. The room laughed. Noah followed it up with a Trump impression that leaned into the absurdity of the whole situation. The audience response made clear that the entertainment industry, sitting in that room, was not feeling Nicki's political pivot. Minaj watched it happen from the outside and went straight to X. Her response that night wasn't measured. She posted several things in rapid succession: religious declarations, attacks on the Grammys themselves, shots at Trevor Noah and Jay-Z, and then, buried in that flurry, came the post that everyone zeroed in on. Fat Lizzo lost 300 pounds just to sell 300 albums. So now she has loose skin, and a flop album, and a weird charge. Sheesh. She posted it alongside a photo of a Chucky doll.
For Nicki to just go back and then attack Lizzo for her weight loss and
free attack vectors in one sentence: Lizzo's body, her commercial performance, and her legal situation. That's not accidental. That's a calculated hit designed to do maximum damage across multiple fronts simultaneously. Here's where the weird charge and flop album claims fall apart under any real scrutiny. On the album front, Lizzo hadn't released a full studio album since 2022's Special. She put out a mixtape called My Face Hurts from Smiling in 2025, but no full studio project had dropped at the time Nicki was posting. So the flop album comment was referencing something that didn't exist yet, which is either sloppy or deliberately misleading. On the legal side, Nicki's weird charge referred to a civil lawsuit filed by 3 of Lizzo's former backup dancers, who alleged sexual harassment and a hostile work environment. Lizzo denied those allegations. Several claims in the case were dismissed. Calling it a weird charge collapsed the nuance of an unresolved civil matter into something that sounds like a conviction, which it isn't. And then there's the body commentary. Lizzo had lost a significant amount of weight through diet and training. Nicki publicly mocked that transformation by implying it produced nothing of value. Loose skin, no commercial success. That framing landed badly with a wide cross-section of people who found it hypocritical coming from someone who has long cultivated an image around body confidence and female empowerment. In the immediate weeks after the February posts, Lizzo's public response was deliberately restrained. During a TikTok live, she told viewers she doesn't make other people's opinions of her business. Somebody asked me if I still fay bowls with Nicki Minaj, she told her audience. I think that other people's opinions of me are not my business. She said she was deliberately choosing not to be informed about the specifics of what was being said about her online. That read, in the moment, like someone genuinely trying to protect their peace. But it also set up something interesting, because Lizzo was clearly paying close attention to all of it, even as she publicly performed indifference. The real response came on June 5, 2026.
Is that really Lizzo? Are y'all fucking me? Are y'all packing me?
The same day she released her new album, Bitch, to Westa Chucky Doll 1, the full, fat Lizzo lost 300 pounds post and put an alternate version of her album's title track over the top of it. The caption, "Since I'm blocked." 2 words. That caption did a lot of heavy lifting. It told you that Nicki had blocked her on X, which reframes the whole dynamic. You can't respond publicly to someone who's locked you out. Turn Nicki's diss into album promotion. And it confirmed that Lizzo had been sitting with this since February and chose this exact moment, the biggest promotional day of her year, to deploy it. The alternate version of Bitch she posted contained new bars that made the target even clearer. She rapped lines including, "Used to be the biggest fan, then I lost weight, let me fixate," and "paid to keep the peace. I don't even like beef/crazy thing is you knew me, you would like me/I'm praying for our sisters. I want to see us all in our bag." That's not subtle. "Used to be the biggest fan" is a direct callback to the fact that Lizzo had been a Nicki fan before any of this. "Let me fixate" mirrors back Nicki's obsession with Lizzo's body, and the last line, "praying for our sisters, wanting to see everyone succeed," positions Lizzo as the one trying to build rather than tear down. Then came the Drink Champs appearance, where Lizzo sat with NoRE and DJ EFN and said something that genuinely cut through the noise of this whole situation. She made a distinction that people weren't fully expecting. On one hand, she said clearly, "I don't have beef on my end with Nicki Minaj. I can still say that she's a great rapper and she has great records." She acknowledged Nicki's dominance and the years she spent at the absolute top of female rap. She recalled an awards show where a Best Female Rapper category had only 3 nominees, and watching Nicki seemingly have to laugh at how small that acknowledgement was for someone who had owned that lane for so long. That moment stuck with her, she said, and gave her a window into what it must feel like to have spent years at the summit, only to watch the landscape shift around you. Then she drew a clear line. "I don't like the way she's been moving. And the way that she talks about me, and the way she talks about my friends, my real friends. I cannot like that. I'm allowed to not like that." And then came the part that sharpens the whole picture. "I truly don't know her. I know of her. They don't have a relationship. There was no friendship that broke down here, no private communication gone wrong, no falling out behind the scenes. Lizzo was a fan who admired the work from a distance. Nicki came at her publicly, repeatedly, and in personal terms. Lizzo's position is that she can simultaneously respect the artistry and reject the behavior, and that those two things don't cancel each other out. She also said something on Drink Champs that was quietly revealing about how she's processing all of this. "We, as women, we collab with each other, but I'll say another thing. Fighting sells." That's a fully self-aware admission. She knows the beef is moving units. She knows that posting Nicki's diss on her album release day generated millions of views within hours. She's not pretending to be above the commercial mechanics of celebrity conflict. That level of transparency about her own motivations is either refreshingly honest or a calculated performance of honesty. And at this point, it's probably Both. The response online split fairly predictably along existing fault lines. Lizzo's core audience rallied hard around her, particularly in response to the body commentary. The idea that Nicki, who built significant cultural capital around body positivity and female empowerment, would mock another woman's weight loss journey struck many people as a fundamental contradiction. Others sided with Nicki, arguing that Lizzo's December comments about her political choices were what set this off, and that Lizzo doesn't get to criticize someone's politics and then act surprised when there's pushback. A third camp, arguably the most interesting one, noted that Lizzo was simultaneously claiming she doesn't have beef while releasing diss bars and using a rival's tweets to promote her album. The question of whether she's being genuine or strategic, or whether those things are even mutually exclusive, became its own conversation. The industry, for its part, stayed largely quiet. Nicki had not responded to the alternate version of Bitch or the Drink Champs interview as of press time. That silence is notable. Nicki Minaj is not someone historically known for letting things slide. Whether she's genuinely unbothered, strategically holding off, or simply hasn't decided how to play this yet remains to be seen. It's worth noting that this beef didn't exist in a vacuum. Lizzo's rollout for BitCH has been genuinely rough in ways that had nothing to do with Nicki. Weeks before the album dropped, she posted a TikTok calling out social media algorithms for what she described as being racist and fatphobic, arguing that the algorithm-based structure of modern social media was destroying the music industry by preventing fans from even knowing when new music drops. She noted that even her 280,000 followers on a private fan page were regularly missing her posts. She was also clearly operating with less label support than she'd had in the past. Atlantic Records' promotional push for the album was noticeably minimal, enough that fans were publicly asking why the rollout was so quiet. Into that context, Nicki's February tweets were a gift, maybe not a welcome one emotionally, but strategically, they handed Lizzo something she could use. 4. The alternate version of Bitch, uploaded over a screenshot of Nicki's diss, pulled in millions of views in hours. Whatever the algorithm wasn't doing for her organically, the beef delivered. And Lizzo knows it. She said so on Drink Champs. Fighting sells. That's the bluntest and most honest thing she said in the entire interview cycle. The most likely outcome here is a slow fade rather than an escalation. Lizzo has made her position clear. She doesn't want the beef. She respects the artistry. She's not going to pretend she's fine with how she's been spoken about. Nicki's silence so far could mean several things. She may feel the Lizzo situation is beneath a formal response given everything else she's navigating. She may be calculating. She may simply not consider it a serious enough provocation to engage beyond what she already posted in February. What's clear is that this isn't a symmetrical conflict. Nicki threw a grenade and walked away. Lizzo picked it up, examined it carefully, turned it into a promotional asset, and then sat down on national television to explain, calmly and with surprising self-awareness, exactly what she thought about the whole thing. There's something genuinely interesting about the way Lizzo is navigating this. She's not performing victimhood. She's not pretending the beef doesn't exist. She's not manufacturing righteous indignation for the camera. She's doing something more complicated, holding two contradictory things at once. You're a great rapper, and I'm not going to deny that alongside. I don't like how you move, and I'm allowed to say so. That duality is harder to pull off than a straight diss or a straight peace offering. And the fact that she's maintaining it coherently across a TikTok live, a Drink Champs interview, a diss track, and an album rollout suggests someone who has a fairly clear head about what this situation actually is. Nicki Minaj went after Lizzo's body, her sales numbers, and her legal situation on the same night she was publicly criticizing the Grammys for being against her. The irony is that the Grammys moment barely registers now compared to the Lizzo exchange, which has attached itself to a new album cycle and generated far more sustained conversation. Lizzo turns someone else's attack into her own narrative. Whether the album performs commercially or not, that's not nothing.